ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So this book called Nur Ul Idaah, the light of clarification. This is classical Hanafi text. Abu al-Ikhlas Hassan ibn Ammar ibn Ali al-Shurumbulali, Imam Shurumbulali al-Wafai from Egypt. He is the author of this book. He died in 11th century after Hijrah. So let's start the book, but we start off with a dua to make it easy for us. So we say it with me. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح. So the Imam starts off with water and its ruling. So we need to know that the water has a nature and its qualities. So the nature of water is, which is what water is described with, is riqqa and saylan. Riqqa and saylan. Riqqa is the thinness. So if you put water through a very narrow, very fine sieve, it will just seep through. Like even from the normally stitched clothes, if you put a piece of cloth, thin one, and put water on top of that, it will just seep through it. It will just go through it. And that's what the riqqa means, the thinness of the water. And there has to be liquidity, the flow. It should be runny. Saylan, it's called saylan. So riqqa and saylan are the two natural qualities of the water, without which a water does not exist. It has to have those two qualities. And then there are certain other qualities, which are the properties like smell. It has a smell. Water has a specific smell. There is the taste, so raiha is the smell. There is taste, ta'am, so there's a ta'am there as well. And there's lawn, the color. So remember, the nature and the qualities of the water has to be there to qualify as water. Why? Because water is something that we need to use to take tahara, to make ourselves pure. And the 7 sources of water with which cleanliness can be achieved. So rainwater, sea water, river water, well water, water from the melted ice, water from the melted hail, snow, and from spring water. So classification of water is based on its state. One of the 5 types. This could be a mutlaq water. A mutlaq water, absolute water, is the water which is tahir, mutahir, and ghayr makruh. A water which is pure and it has a potential to purify, so it's purifying and it's not disliked. It is perfect, absolutely good for everything. But there's certain water which is pure and it can purify as well, yet it is makruh, it is disliked. In the presence of the first one, the mutlaq one, you should not be using the disliked one. If you do not have the mutlaq, then obviously it's not makruh. It is not disliked when you do not have alternative. And then musta'mal, this is tahir, this is pure as well, but it is not purifying. You cannot use it to purify yourself or clean anything, although it is pure on its own. It's called musta'mal. Musta'mal, used water. And then najas, the water which is najas. And there's water which is mushtabah. Mushtabah is the one which is doubtful. Maybe it is pure, maybe it is not. Okay, so we cover some of them today, some next week, slowly, inshallah. Mutlaq. Mutlaq is a water which is tahir and mutahhir. Pure and purifying. It is pure and it would purify, and it is not disliked in any form, which is any water, normal water that you get. But there's a makruh. If you know makruh, then you would know what pure means. This is tahir and mutahhir. It is pure and purifying, yet it has some issue with it, which is that there's a water in a small quantity in a bucket sitting inside the house for you to use it for wudu or for cooking, for drinking. Yet your domesticated cat came and drank from it. Now, that water becomes disliked. If you do not have alternative, then it is okay. If you had alternative, then it is disliked. If you did not have alternative, that's the only water available. So you have to do wudu with that. You can use it for anything. Even if you used it when you had alternative, then it is still okay. It would make your prayer valid, your wudu valid, your ghusl valid. You're washing the clothes or anything valid. Yet it is disliked. You have not done the best thing. It's still okay. It's disliked, not haram. It does not invalidate your action. Okay, so, but this is from domesticated cat, provided that they've just drank from it. Now, again, if you saw them having blood in their mouth, they've just eaten something like a mouse or something, and obviously, and then they put their mouth inside that water, then that water becomes najas. We're not talking about that water. We're talking about a cat which is completely clean and nice, like the way they're normally. By the way, they're very clean animal. They keep themselves very clean. They keep, getting all that, stuff from their teeth cleansed before they move on. They keep doing it. So that's disliked water. Why Sharia allowed us to have that? Because it is so difficult, especially in olden days when the houses were not, double glazed and they were not like locked properly. So animals would come and go, domesticated cats from this house to that house. And we have lived with that for all our life as a child and young boys back home. So we have, any cat coming in and going out, and they would just even lay babies in the house somewhere in the storeroom. Wherever they find any food, they would just try and open those kitchen door inside, and they would just help themselves with whatever is available outside. So I remember we used to put a covering, and on top of that, a heavy stone. A good heavy paper, weight, just to hold it there. Something to keep it there or lock it. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. They would come, and they were very clever. They opened the lid and then enjoy the meal before you would come near. Anyway, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned about them that the tawafat, the tawafun, they come and they just circumambulate around the house. They keep coming in and out. So how could you save yourself from them? That is why the allowance is given. Otherwise, it shouldn't be allowed actually, because cat is not halal animal. Halal animal is fine. Like, if you have a baby lamb inside the house, they're coming and eating and drinking, that's fine, no problem with that. It's not even disliked because they're halal. Everything is halal. Whether you like it or not, that's a different matter. Maybe I don't have it. I don't want to. Sometimes people even don't have the leftover from their family members. And that's bad activity. So mustamal is tahir, meaning it is pure, but it is not mutahhir. It cannot be used to purify something else. You cannot use it to do wudu. It has been used to remove a state of ritual impurity, means you have already done the wudu with that, the leftover water. That is mustamal, being used. From the bucket, you've taken out water to purify yourself. You keep doing it, either, pouring it in your hand and using it. Whatever is left behind, it is being used water. Used water cannot be used again to purify something else, like washing your clothes or taking ghusl or wudu, whatever. Or used for the sake of attaining reward, such as wudu performed afresh by one who already has done wudu with the intention of wudu in the same majlis. So sitting there doing it, and you just use the water, and then you use the same water again, that water becomes used. You do not want to use that for something else. Now, when do we call it a used water? A used water is a used water when it leaves your body. So what happened? You're washing your face, and from your face, the water is dripping, 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 and getting collected in a pot. In a small pot that you put underneath. So you're washing your hand, and once you've done your wudu of the hand, the water is leaving your body and gathering in that small, platter or small vessel that you kept underneath, in order to not soil your area, the house, or maybe you're sitting inside your bedroom and doing your wudu there. Now, it's difficult to imagine now because we have got very easy access to the sink, plenty of water coming from the tap. So that's why it would not be, it may be perceived as such. So, but just have a bit of imagination, go a little bit more, sensible in with regards to knowing the time. Even today in the villages, when people do not have access to all of that, they still go take the bucket out from the bigger bucket, the reservoir that they have, take water out from there in a small, double bucket, and then they would just use it to make wudu. But they are in a place where they cannot have the water standing afterwards. Otherwise, it will stay there for long. They do not have any drainage system. They do not want that to collect there. So they would collect that in a different pot. The water looks nice and clean when it is back because your hand was clean, your face was clean. So you washed it, the water kept gathering underneath you in a small pot that you put a tray. That is the water which is called used water. Now there's difference of opinion among the imams that is it when the water rests in that pot or in that vessel which you were collecting the water in after your wudu, then it becomes mustamal, or is it when it leaves the body? So the most correct opinion is when the minute it leaves your body, the minute the water drip off your body, it becomes mustamal. It is used water. You cannot use that again for any other purification. You can use it for whatever. You can just, give it to animals and you can drink it, not a problem. But you cannot purify yourself. Like you cannot do another wudu. Someone else cannot use it. You cannot use it to do wudu. You cannot use it to wash a piece of cloth which has a najasa, to pee, blood in it. You can't clean it with that. You can put that back on your body or on your animal or your child to give them a wash with that, because they're not doing it to purify themselves. They're just doing it because hot weather. And that's the only water left for me after done wudu. Left water was sitting there. When it is too late in the afternoon, it's very hot in the day, you thought of utilizing that water to rub on your body to get a little bit coolness. You're not purifying yourself with that water. You're just using it to get a little bit coolness. And that is fine because it is pure water. It is not purifying. It cannot be used to wash your clothes which are soiled with najasa. Is that clear? Okay. We can take shower from it. If the shower was done not to purify yourself, not from the sexual defilement, not from your menses or nifas, but from this I just want to get a little bit wet really. Or I've got just like a little bit sweat in my armpit. Let me just take that water and then rub it here. Fine. And I've got like, I noticed that I've got a bit of a, boogie in the nose. I want to clean it with water. That water could be used for that. It's not najasa that you're cleaning. It's fine. So you can use it because it is pure, but you cannot use it to purify for ritual reasons, as wudu, ghusl, or purifying the najas clothes, or anything, any item that you have which has. So your son has urinated on that mobile phone, which was covered with something, and you want to wash it. You can wash with that. No, you can't. Why? Because this is the my mustamad, used water. You can't wash. You can wash it. It would just take the urine drops away, but you cannot keep this with you because this mobile phone now is najas. You have to wash it with something, pure water. Okay. I hope it clarifies. So understand the difference. It is pure. You can drink it. You can use it. You can cook with it. But you cannot use it to purify something else. That's called ma mustamad. If a junubi means someone who is sexually defiled, insert his hand, which is free from any apparent najasa, into a bowl of water, then that water will be rendered mustamal. Remember, that is why when you're taking shower, when you're taking ghusl, bath, from a tub, make sure that if you are doing it, after you are sexually defiled, do not put your hand in that bucket. Do not soil that, or cause this water to be mustamil. Then you won't be able to use it for your own purification. Take the bucket, bring it out, not your hand inside the water. This is provided that other means of extracting the water are available. If there's no other means, then the water shall remain mutlaq. Then Sharia gives you leeway. Remember, it is about the people who do not have access to plenty of water. In the modern days, you've got like your name is shower, you can just open the tap and plenty of water. Cleanliness cannot be attained by using water from a tree or fruit, even if it comes forth without being squeezed. Referring to the point that certain imams would allow if the water coming out from a fruit tree on its own, dripping, you used it without you squashing it. If you squashed it, that water, that is not water. So even for when it comes on its own, you should not use it for wudu or purification. Why? Because this is no more water. It is juice now. It has to be water. It is not cold water anymore. It is cold juice. Has lost its nature through being cooked. If you've cooked it, that water becomes like boiled water, properly boiled, and you put something in there, it has lost its property, then that you shouldn't be using. Has lost its nature through the predominance of something else over it. Like you put something in it, make it a gravy, a soup, even a runny soup, but still, it's not the liquid anymore, the way. So it gets ghalaba, the predominance of something else. Make sure that we understand this very clearly. When water is mixed with a solid substance, the overwhelming or the predominance will occur when that water loses its thinness and liquidity. Riqqa and saylan. You remember? Its thinness and its liquidity. If you lose that, such water cannot be used for wudu or ghusl, for any purification. When the water is mixed with a solid substance such as saffron, fruits, leaves of a tree, then the water shall continue to be purifying even though all its quality, color, taste, and smell has changed, but it remains water through its thinness, riqqa, and liquidity, which is saylan. Let me elaborate on that. A water has been mixed with a solid substance. The thinness and the liquidity, has it changed or not? It has. Then the water loses its ability. The example is this. You put some sugar in the water, salt in the water. What would happen? If you cook it, or if you leave it like this, what would happen? It get dissolved in it. The water would become thick. The consistency would be much more thicker. The specific gravity would get higher, isn't it? So you can't, it's not as thin, as runny as it was before. It's lost its ability. It is not thin, and it is not going to be runny. Riqqa and saylan both gone. It is no more considered a water, and you can't use this as water to purify yourself. Now, it continues to have its thinness and liquidity. Those two are still there. So it would still be purifying, even if it loses quality, not the nature, but the quality. The qualities are smell. Now you put some beautiful, mint leaves in it. So you get no change in the color, but you may get the change in the smell, maybe in the taste as well. So that remains water. Why? Because it has still got its thinness, its riqqa, and its saylan. It's still runny as it was before, despite having a color in it. So remember that. Now that was solid. But what about you put liquid in it? You put some liquid. The normal water got mixed with the liquid. So now you have to look at the liquid, whether liquid has a quality or not. It may have one quality. It may have two qualities. It may have three qualities, or no qualities. That's the only options available. So far, the liquid that were available in the world, these are the three possibilities. So if it has two qualities, then one of the qualities, and what are the three qualities we're talking about? Color, taste, and smell. Very good. Color, taste, and smell. If someone has two qualities, so for example, milk, how many qualities? Milk has a color and taste. These are the two qualities it has. Okay, it does not have smell. So those two qualities. If the water is mixed with milk, now you need to look at whether one of the qualities of water has been there to predominate the water. Now water looks white, like milk, more white than not. Or it has the taste. It is not looking white, it still look watery, the same color of water, colorless. But when you taste, it has got the taste of water, milk. So one or the two, one or the other is found in that water. This water is now considered more milk than water because it has overwhelmed. Means you have more water mixed in this liquid water to render it not water anymore. And it is not going to be purifying. It is still pure. It is still pure. You can drink it, you can do whatever, but you cannot use it for wudu or washing your clothes, which are najas, impure. And what about the three qualities? If there were three qualities, then you have to have two qualities affecting the water. So talking about black vinegar, dark vinegar, a vinegar which has dark color, it has a taste, and it has a smell, all three. Now for that to show the predominance means more water than the normal water. More vinegar than the normal water. So then you have to have two qualities. Either the color changes, or the smell changes, or the taste changes. Two of these three should be there, any combination. Then you would say there are more vinegar added to the normal water, hence the water is no more purifying. It is not mutahhir, it is tahir. It is still pure. You can still drink it, you can do whatever, but you cannot use it to purify something which Sharia asks you to do as a ritual purification, like for wudu, ghusl, and removing that blood stain from the cloth, urine from the cloth, from any item. And finally, if there was a liquid which has no qualities at all, which is rose water, which has lost its smell. Rose water has a smell of rose, but if you leave it for long enough, it loses its smell. That water hasn't got any quality now. Out of the three, all gone. Okay, it's gone. Then what? Then you have to just identify the quantity. You need to know the quantity. So if the rose water quantity was more than the normal water, then it would be counted as non-purifying, otherwise it would be purifying. So 2 liters of used water are mixed with 1 liter of pure water. Then the wudu is not permissible. It would be permissible if the proportion is to the contrary. It means more pure water than mixed one. So the used water, I said, it could be rose water. Okay, even the rose water. Or used water, both is fine. So again, the summary here is water mixed with liquid. Number of qualities in the mix of the mixed liquid. None, so judge according to the amount. Rose water without smell and remnant water, which is mustamal, used water. 2 qualities, one of these become apparent in the water. That's milk. 3 qualities, 2 of these become apparent in the water, like vinegar. Then the ghalaba is done. They have overwhelmed the normal water. Now the water is not water anymore. It can be used as a liquid of some sort, but not water, which can be used to purify, which must be used to purify you. Do istinja, do ghusl, do wudu, wash your different items if they've soiled. So we leave it there, inshallah, but make sure that's a very important concept to master, so that when we move on, things will become a little bit more, inshallah, practical and clear. Jazakallahu khaira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.